These competitive things are kind of small things along the way. Unless somebody else is shooting for Mars, they will not be competitive with something as pedestrian as launching a few satellites into Earth orbit. Experimental rockets are just utterly stupid, in my opinion. Utterly stupid. They're a complete waste of time. People should stop wasting their time. But I'm trying to make sure that our rate of innovation increases. It does not decrease. This is really essential.
Hey, I'm Stephen and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So Elon Musk recently spoke to the Mars Society. There's a link in the description to the full discussion. In this video, I'm going to be sharing a few clips regarding innovation at SpaceX, which I think we can also apply to Tesla. The key takeaway from this video is quite simple. Having the goal in mind and having an ambitious stretch goal, something that's audacious, going to force you to do things differently in order to achieve it, is how Tesla and SpaceX have been able to disrupt billions of dollars of industry. So let's get into the video. But first, hey guys, if you live in the US and would like up to 2 free stocks valued up to $1,600 each, use the link in the description to WeBull and deposit $100 in your account. Each of these stocks will be a minimum of $8 in value, so if you suck at math, that is a 16% ROI on $100. Not bad. And if you're in Australia, the UK or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake, also using the link in the description. Let's get back to it.
I think sometimes people have difficulty dealing with probabilities. It's either this way or that way, but we just face a series of probabilities. There's some chance that we will have a giant war or a super volcano or, a comet might hit the Earth, or we might just self-extinguish in some, it might be more of a whimper than a bang.
This is a fantastic opening point from Elon that I just want to expand on a little bit. Occasionally when I hear this discussion and debate around whether or not we should colonize Mars, try to back up life, those kind of things, occasionally I'll hear people pushing back, oh no, we shouldn't go to Mars, yeah, we've got to fix Earth, man, what are you talking about, what a waste of route, blah, blah, blah. Now, not to be too abrasive or direct, but when I hear these kind of statements, it's an enormous tell that the person making them is either incapable of understanding probabilities, again, not an insult, just a fact, or they're entirely ignorant of some, if not many, of the potential outcomes, such as supervolcano wiping out all life on Earth, asteroid impact wiping out all life on Earth, gamma ray burst wiping out all life on Earth, and to be honest, probably Mars too, so we need to get out of the solar system eventually as well, super virus, artificial superintelligence, World War III, I could go on. So until we have a self-sustaining civilization on another planet, it is a fucking emergency, and this is what's driving SpaceX to innovate at such a rapid pace. We need to solve this problem, it's extremely important, and that is fundamentally what is pushing SpaceX forward and allowing them to disrupt and innovate at a rate that is truly embarrassing to the wider space industry.
This is really about, minimizing existential risk for civilization as a whole, and then having an exciting future that you can look forward to, and a future where we are a spacefaring civilization and multi-planet species is far more exciting than one where we are not. I mean, that's an exciting future, and being forever confined to Earth until some eventual extinction event is depressing and not fun. We need things that make you want to get out of bed in the morning and be excited about the future. And I think being a spacefaring civilization is one of those things that everyone can get excited about. You first have to say what is the goal. And once you have what is the goal, you can then measure the various designs against that goal. Otherwise, you're saying, how are you evaluating why is one design better than another? What's your goal? It's got to be a goal. So the goal is get enough tonnage to Mars and enough people to make Mars self-sustaining as quickly as possible. So then you say, okay, let's back out the math on this. We're going to need a lot of tonnage, maybe 100,000 tons, maybe 1 million tons. So you can't be faffing around with these expendable rockets. They're a joke. Expendable rockets are just utterly stupid, in my opinion. Utterly stupid. They're a complete waste of time. People should stop wasting their time. If you try to sell an expendable plane, people would laugh you out of the room. If you're trying to sell an expendable car, they would laugh you out of the room. If you're trying to sell an expendable horse, they would laugh you out of the room and think there's something wrong with you mentally. So all these things are reusable.
Now, this is a very serious matter. Just put yourselves in the shoes of another launch provider who does not have reusable rockets. You simply cannot compete on cost with SpaceX. You're not even close to the same ballpark. This means that SpaceX has a future monopoly on launch. Now, obviously, there's going to be some providers that can still offer some services somewhere, a few exceptions. But just think about this. If SpaceX aren't throwing away every rocket that they use, and a competitor is. There is literally no way they can compete on price. Period. SpaceX has completely upended and disrupted the launch industry. I've never seen a disruption this enormous from a single company, a single source. No one else has the technology. No one else has mastered reusability. This matters. And this all stems from SpaceX's overarching goal, their mission to develop a self-sustaining civilization on Mars. This has enabled them to do things like start launching and developing the Starlink network, which literally nobody else can compete with, okay? In case you don't know, the Starlink internet service is a global constellation, a swarm of satellites enveloping the entire planet that ultimately, when fully launched and built out, is going to provide internet service to basically every square inch of the entire planet. How does anyone compete with this? Well, they need to launch their own network of thousands of satellites. Now, how are they going to get that network up there? They can launch using expendable rockets and pay an absolute shit ton and go bankrupt, or they can pay SpaceX to launch their competing service and then SpaceX takes the revenue as well. I mean, it is a win-win for SpaceX. Again, this all comes down to having that overarching goal of colonizing Mars. They wouldn't have the tech if they were just aiming to compete with launch. Because they're aiming for something much bigger, this is why they're in a dominant position. That kind of reminds me of another Elon Musk company, Tesla. Also with an enormous mission of accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. While other automakers are out and about continuing to focus their energy on their highly profitable internal combustion engines, Tesla was announcing 6 years ago, hey, we're going to build a fucking gigantic battery factory because we're going to be delivering about 500,000 vehicles by 2020. And they are. Guess what? No one else was aiming, no one else had the goal, and now no one's catching up to Tesla because their lead is unassailable because Tesla had a massive goal that pushed them forward and forced innovation, and everybody else was sitting pretty, staying comfortable, and doing absolutely nothing to rock the boat. And now they're all headed for bankruptcy this decade. Mark my words.
It's essential to be reusable. Creating a reusable rocket, orbital rocket, is very difficult. Doing a suborbital reusable rocket is easy. Doing a reusable orbital rocket is hard.
Was that a subtle dig at Blue Origin? Let me know in the comments if you think Elon was having a go there or that was just an innocent comment, a factual statement and nothing more.
Well, I'm trying to make sure that our rate of innovation increases. It does not decrease. This is really essential.
If SpaceX can maintain an accelerating pace of innovation, it is game over for everyone else.
In fact, if we do not see something close to an exponential improvement in our rate of innovation, we will not reach Mars. Like a pure linear doesn't get there. Well, I'll be dead anyway before it gets there if it's pure linear. I think we could get to Mars. We could probably send an uncrewed mission there in maybe 4 years. Like I said, it is important to have the objective be right. That's why I was talking so much about the importance of making Mars a self-sustaining, building a self-sustaining city on Mars. If that's the objective, then obviously, just putting some satellites in orbit that's not important. You have to achieve full and rapid reusability. I emphasize full and rapid. Reusability is only relevant to the degree it's rapid and complete. And then you also have to do orbital refilling. This is essential as well. And then propellant production on Mars, also essential. With that as the goal, then that creates, I think, a good forcing function for radical innovation, because in the absence of radical innovation, we have no chance of meeting that goal. Whereas if our goal was simply defeat Lockheed and Boeing or something like that, we would probably achieve that goal.
You've already done it.
That really wasn't even a thing, We got they're not even trying to do reusability, which is bizarre because they make planes that are reusable. If they talk to one of their customers, buys a Lockheed fighter jet or a Boeing aircraft, like, hey, we're going to sell you a 737, it can be used once. and it's not 737 MAX. But that turns out that was a single-use airplane at times. It would be an absurd thing for them to sell a single-use aircraft, but they feel quite comfortable selling a single-use rocket. And anyway, but if our goal was simply we're going to be the leaders in launching the conventional satellites that exist, we would probably approach that on a sort of a logarithmic basis where, you'd get there and you'd sort of slowly make progress towards doing 10 launches a year, 12 launches a year, and while they do 6 or something like that. I don't know. But since the goal is, hey, we need to make life multiplanetary before it's too late and time really matters, it's like we're shooting for Mars, not just the moon. It's not let's shoot for the moon, shoot for Mars. And then these competitive things are kind of small things along the way. Unless somebody else is shooting for Mars, they will not be competitive with something as pedestrian as launching a few satellites into Earth orbit.
Ooh, shots fired there from Elon. Although, honestly, he's just being realistic and real. It's not like he's trying to disparage or put down his competitors. He's just pointing out that if they're not aiming to get people to Mars, there's no way on Earth. See what I did there? No way on... Oh, that was bad. Anyway, I'm going to leave it in there. No way on Earth they'll be competitive for launch. It's just not going to happen. I mean, I really would not want to be in the launch industry at this point in time. How do you compete with a company that has now nailed reusable rockets and you haven't? How? Just someone tell me, how do you compete with SpaceX right now? Please, somebody tell me how. When I originally watched this discussion with Elon, I was absolutely blown away by this next comment. So let's enjoy.
I mean, we can for sure lob out a bunch of droids. That's no problem. I think, why not? We're going, and probably if anyone wants to put their droid on, we could just take it. It's like, hey, it's basically a remote control car, a solar powered remote control car. And we could provide the communication relay. So, you could just basically connect your car from your computer at home and, cruise your electric. You could have legs too, it doesn't matter. Your robo device / car. That would be pretty cool.
As a lifelong space nerd, this is just mind-blowingly awesome. So let me know in the comments, who's going to put a droid on the next Starship to Mars? I mean, just imagine how fucking awesome that will be to be able to remote control a droid on another planet via a SpaceX. Like, dude, what even is this?
What's the coolest part of Starship development?
I guess the coolest part of Starship development is working with just a great team of engineers and coming up with interesting solutions. Yeah, I think it's just fundamentally enjoyable if you're working with a lot of good, smart people creatively towards solutions that have never existed before. That's very rewarding. So I guess probably I like that the most.
What a beautiful response. Just imagine hearing that from the CEO of the company you work for at SpaceX. The thing that really gets him the most excited, the thing that he likes the most about working on this mission, it's the people he's working with. Just brilliant. I mean, how can you hate the guy? Actually, I know the answer to that. The only way you can hate Elon Musk is if you hate yourself. And to the 12 people living in their mum's basement right now getting enraged by the fact that I insulted them by saying the only way they could hate Elon is if they hate themselves, I made my point. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget your free stocks with WeBull and Stake using the links below. Open a new WeBull account, deposit $100 and you'll get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,600. And Stake, spin the roulette wheel, you'll either get Nike, GoPro or Dropbox. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.